Hey everybody, it's Melissa, and one of the most popular questions I've been getting on my lives is what is my favorite designer fragrance to wear? And I got a lot of love for designer scents, all right? I feel like once people start kind of getting into niche, they get a little bit elitist, but for me, designers are always like my go-to recommendations, especially for people that know me in real life. And my personal favorite to use is Dior Homme 2020. Honestly, this scent, the first time I smelled it, I liked it. But then in the dry down of it, it got a little bit more patchouli heavy. And I'm like, dang, I kind of wish it smelled the same like in the beginning a lot longer. But the more I've been using the fragrance, the more I've fallen in love with the scent. Now, oh my God, that's so good. I have not touched this fragrance or worn this fragrance at all for the month of July because it's been warm, it's been a summer month, and this is usually my go-to nighttime fragrance, but lately I've been wearing a scent that carries from the daytime to the nighttime, so that's been perfect for me. But this was like my go-to like rooftop bar scent. So what does this smell like? It smells peppery in the opening. There's some bergamot to give it that freshness, but as it dries down, it's like this very sensual, woody patchouli fragrance. I believe there's cashmere wood. There's some cedar here, ISO-E Super, white musk. And I usually like when there's like a little bit of white musk in a fragrance. There's something very cozy and attractive about that note to me. And vetiver as well. So like I mentioned, the patchouli, at least in the very beginning for me, was something that I wasn't the biggest fan of. Like I could still get with the fragrance, but I wasn't really as attracted to the scent. But the more I've worn it, I don't know if I either started liking patchouli better or if other notes just showcased better on my skin, but I hardly really noticed the patchouli as much as just like I said, a sensual woody sort of fragrance. So to me, I do think Dior Homme 2020 is sexy, but I think the word sensual fits it better. It's a warm, seductive fragrance. This is a great date night sort of scent, and I don't know what it is about this fragrance. It just has that it factor. It has the X factor. You know what I mean? Like when you smell a scent, for example, on the masculine side, when I smelled the Nuit de l'Homme by YSL, right? I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is just an easy to love, sexy fragrance. It just does its thing. But this one is just a little bit more on the mysterious side of things. You know what I mean? It is a little bit more dark, but it's kind of like dark, playful, approachable, flirty. You know what I mean? Like when you are at these bars, or let's say you're at a lounge, or maybe you're a little bit more dressed up. If you're going to like a rooftop bar, something like that, right? And you're wearing this scent, it's not like punching you in the face with how it smells. It's not an aggressive scent that everybody around you will smell. In fact, it's a pretty intimate fragrance. I would say if you're having a close interaction with somebody, it's definitely noticeable. For me, when I would wear this out at night, I would do maybe 6 sprays of this fragrance. Typically, I wouldn't even do that, but if I want it to last throughout the night, and if I want it to have the sort of projection, like the 1 to 2 arms lengths, if I want it to have, maybe not 2 arms. No, you know what? When I did spray it fresh, yeah, you could definitely smell it to 2 arms lengths. But to be safe, I'll say 1 to 1.5 arms lengths. And then it did have a really good scent trail. Again, this is when I sprayed it 6 times. I did, I think, 3 sprays on skin and 3 sprays on clothes. And where I sprayed it is like the back of my shoulder blades and then just like the middle of my back. And then on skin behind each ear and the back of my neck, right? Just so it already had that sort of scent trail going on because that's where I applied the fragrance. But I did receive a lot of compliments on this scent when I did wear it out. And I just like, even for me, it's just so good. This is just one of those no-brainer fragrances that whenever people ask me, they're like, oh, what can I blind buy? I want something to blind buy. I would say if you are kind of going for that date sensual scent, then get this. If you're using this for versatility, you can. I know there's people that are subscribed to me that they said, this guy lives in Phoenix and he uses this as his signature scent. To me, I find this fragrance to be too sweet. I mean, it's been warm as hell here. And I have not even thought about whipping out this fragrance just because when it's hot, I really want something more fresh. You know what I mean? I'll save this when it cools down just a little bit more. But I really can't wait to use this fragrance even more, just because especially in the fall, that's when I would probably use this more as a go-to scent. You know, like I have worn this when I was working out once, but that's because I was outdoors and it was a really gloomy day, so I wanted to see the performance on it, and it was really good. So, you know, who knows, right? It all depends on your skin chemistry. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video, all right? This is not a sponsored video. I'm giving my honest thoughts and opinions with this fragrance. This is the EDT concentration, by the way, in case that was not disclosed. And yeah, Dior Homme is just like a nice little, it's just like an obvious choice to have, especially if you are building your collection. Like, let's say La Nuit de l'Homme is not, you love the smell of it, but the performance is really just pissing you off, then you can get something like Dior Homme. Or actually, no, get La Nuit de l'Homme and let me keep this fragrance, all right? I'll be the only one wearing this, and I won't be. But it's so good. It's mass appealing. But at the same time, it's not your typical designer scent. You know, it's not in that wave of those blue fragrances like Sauvage or Bleu de Chanel or YEDP. Those are very common fragrances, at least in the area I live in, that if you walk by a guy and he happens to be wearing a fragrance, it's going to be one of those three. Specifically, 90% of the time it's Sauvage, right? So that is at least what, in my real world perspective, that's always what I smell. So when you've got something like Dior Homme 2020 that brings just a little bit more of like a classiness to the very modern fragrance game, it's like a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? It's like refreshing to kind of smell something like this, because it's not anything new, but it's timeless. You know, this is definitely a timeless, classy sort of fragrance. I feel like if you get this at a younger age, it's still something that you can rock as a signature the older that you get. It just gets better with time. You know what I mean? Like if you're somebody that wore this in your 20s, then you kept wearing it even well into your 40s, it would just continue to suit the wearer very nicely, you know? So I have to say though, I have not tried the original. I think that from what I have seen in my interactions and comments from people and subscribers, they tell me that their drawback with this fragrance is, you know, they just wish that they love the original, the vintage one, a lot more. And like I said, I have not tried that fragrance, but I am very, very pleased with this scent. If it's an even stronger version of this fragrance, I mean, that's great. But for me, I feel like this performs exactly the way I need it to. Like I'm getting a little bit over 6 hours of noticeable wear with this fragrance, then it becomes more of a skin scent. But I like when that happens, because when you are close and intimate with somebody and they're, you know, they're very close to you, they could smell you like that, and it's just kind of like popping off your skin a little bit. It's attractive because it's not in your face. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, not the word magnetic. Yeah, it is magnetic, but like a fishing reel. You know what I mean? It's just like you kind of draw them in closer and closer, but you're not trying to just be like, hey, everybody, look, I smell good. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not trying to get attention, but you just do, because the fragrance is so sensual. I hope that made sense. But anyways, y'all, let me know what your favorite designer fragrance to wear is in the comment section. And I will be doing a video tomorrow, probably on my top 5 favorite fragrances for July. And I will be probably doing another video on my favorite scent to smell on, like my favorite designer scent on other people that I like to smell. So yeah, stay tuned for those if you want. All right, I hope you'll have a great day. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.